Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I'm very excited because there are some highly anticipated new releases that have come out over the last couple of months, and I'm finally able to read them. So let's spend a week reading new releases. I think I'm craving a strawberry matcha this morning, so let's go ahead and make that, and then we're going to talk about the first book I'm reading. You guys, I can't believe I didn't record the pour. I moved the camera to get a new angle, trying to be cutie and creative, and instead I just never hit record. Finished making the matcha, and then the screen went black. As in, babes, you haven't hit record in a while. You're gonna go to sleep now. I was so mad. Me and strawberry matchas were like this. So good. Now that I've had breakfast, I've changed into the coziest sweatshirt I have, and of course, we still have the matcha to fuel me. I am ready to pick our first book. We are kicking this off with No Matter What by Cara Bastone. I am very excited for this book. I loved Promise Me Sunshine so much. I love the characters, the writing, the overall storytelling. So I'm highly anticipating this one. I didn't read the full synopsis. I just wanted to read the little top blurb to get a gist of what I'm walking into. So it says, a traumatic accident tests the limits of love and resilience as a couple fights to rebuild what was broken and rediscover themselves in this tender, slow burn romance. So I'm excited. Let's just jump right into it. I'm here for my first reading update. Otherwise, I'm just gonna finish this book in one sitting because I can't put it down. I don't want to put it down. I'm on page 100, which I think is about 28% of the way in. No notes. It's perfect. I have felt so many emotions. I have teared up so many times. I've cried a few times. In the scene that I just read, I was on the verge of sobbing. It was just so raw and beautiful and heartbreaking. I mean, we're dealing with a married couple that had this tragic accident where they both experienced it, and I can only imagine what that is like for two people to have to heal emotionally and physically from that, but then also a new kind of dynamic and shift in a marriage during that process, and a patience you have to have for yourself and your partner, and PTSD and all of that. It's so hard to read at times, but so beautiful when you get to see the love that they still have for each other and them trying to kind of figure that out. I love it. I love it so much. I mean, it's giving 5-star feelings now because I got pretty invested into this story fairly quickly, and I have no notes. There's been nothing that I don't like about this story and how it's being told and the way it's being told. So if we walk away with a 5-star, I am excited. I'm excited. I'm gonna keep reading and I will update you guys when I have another update. But this book is everything to me right now. cannot get enough of this book. I am on chapter 19, page 236. So I think I have about 25% left, which I plan to just lock in and finish. I don't want to put this book down. I love it. We've had so many important conversations and moments within all of our main characters. I'm curious if the brother is going to get a book because we need to see more of him. I love him so much. I love his role in their life and in this story, but I also want to see like his romance. You know what I mean? Like I want to dive deeper into that one. So I'm hoping all of those little things that we've seen as far as like his romantic interests, I'm hoping we get a book of that. As far as our main characters, I love them so much it hurts. Vin, give it up for my man Vin. Like, he's out here trying his best to learn how to communicate and use his words as a man. You know what I mean? And I love that for him. I love that for his journey. And then I love our main female character, Roz. I mean, she is learning so much on how to communicate herself through these like very hard times. And I just love watching her healing process with all of this that has happened. So I'm loving it. I'm curious what's going to happen in the last 25%. I'm like scared and nervous. So let's see how this book wraps up. We are not going to talk about the events that led me to my third outfit of the day. I came here to talk about No Matter What by Cara Bastone because you guys saw me finish this. This was an easy 5 stars. This was an incredible story. I love them with all my heart. It reminded me a lot of how I felt with Promise Me Sunshine because I can see how there's going to be a huge audience that loves this story, loves the premise, the themes, the heartbreak, the warmth, all of it. But I think there's still going to be a good amount of people that just feel like this fell flat for them. This really wasn't their vibe. Because in Promise Me Sunshine, the heavy like theme of that was grief. And I think if someone hasn't experienced heart-wrenching grief, I think it is hard to connect to those characters and to see kind of what they're going through and then like feel deeply for that to possibly be a 4.5, 5-star experience. This is the same here with the premise of like PTSD, recovering from accidents. But I think there's a level to that where someone battling with like anxiety to the point of panic attacks, something that could trigger them down a spiraling thought process. Like I think there's levels to this that doesn't have to be the extreme of what happens in this, that you could still connect to the story. I think I just really loved watching our characters heal and grow as individuals and together. I loved our side characters. The dialogue in this, tremendous. Being inside our main female's head, she's hilarious. I loved both like the internal dialogue and the external. I found her to be so funny and so like witty and relatable in her like spiraling moment. Oh, it was, I was laughing. I was laughing so much, but then I was sobbing at different points. So Cara does it all. She does it all. I just highly recommend this book. I really like the audiobook. I really like just physically reading. I don't think there's one over the other. So I just think you need to get it. Whether or not you want to pay for it with your own money, your own Audible credits, Libro.fm credits. Also, Libro.fm, superior to Audible. Do what you will with that information, but like get on Libro.fm. What are you doing? We support indie bookstores over here. But with that, you could also just check it out from your library. Free or pay for it, do what you gotta do to read this book because you need this in your life. We are officially on to book number 2, and I started it this morning and reached about 100 pages in. I'm, I think, 25% of the way through this book, and I'm obsessed. In a League of Her Own by Liz Tom Ford. I love her. I haven't read any of the Windy City series, so I know that it could be considered spoilery that, like, we're talking about couples that are together in this book, in this world, but to me, like, it's not a spoiler to know that 2 main characters in a book got together. Like, hello? Duh. So I'm just missing, like, the context of their love story, which I know can enhance an experience, and, like, you grow to love them in that book, so seeing them pop up here is just, like, giving you the warm fuzzies. I don't feel like that's hindering my experience because I'm obsessed with Reese and Emmett so much. I love this dynamic of him being the field manager, her being the first woman owner, and just having his respect of that shown from chapter 1. I love it. I love it. So I'm having such a good time with this story. I'm loving the dialogue, the pace, just like all of their interactions. Yes. So I'm going to continue reading because I don't want to put this book down, but I wanted to talk with you. I was like, girl, you can't just keep reading and give your first update halfway through the book. So kind of wanted to give those initial thoughts. But I knew that this book was going to be for me the moment I read the synopsis. So let's just keep reading. I love them. I love them so much. I'm obsessed with Reese and Emmett. I love those stolen moments, those hidden glances in a crowded room. Like, I mean, I say hidden, not so hidden, because everyone on the team's like, guys, break the tension already. And I just love that. I love the family part of this team. I've loved watching Reese over the first half of this book, really just navigating being the first woman owner of a Major League Baseball team and her not having to prove herself as a competent owner, but as a woman owner. And it's obviously frustrating for me to see, especially as someone that grew up in the sports world and like continues to see that. We see a lot more confident men standing up for that and being like, yeah, she's amazing at her job. What about it? Like, I have loved seeing that in the real world, and I love seeing Emmett be that representation in here. I love seeing all the guys that he coaches, that he loves, also kind of having that stance, and I just love it. I love it. So I need to buckle in and just sit down and read this tonight. I really want to lock in and finish it because I'm having such a good time. I have the whole evening ahead of me to just read, so I think that's what we need to do. I'm here to give one final update before I finish this book because I only have probably 40-ish pages, I think. I'm so close to the end. But more importantly, I know that things are going to have to go bad before we get the wrapped up with a pretty little bow kind of ending. And I'm just so scared. We're about to get there. There's no way that we're not. And I'm scared of like how that's going to come about. But we all know that we're in a conundrum with a field manager and the owner of the team. You know what I mean? Like, we got to figure out how that would work logistically for a business. And I'm scared how I'm about to find out how that works logistically as a business. So pray for me as I finish this book. But I can't get enough of Reese and Emmett and their love for each other. And Emmett is my man. Emmett's my man. But we love that Reese is a boss. Quite literally and metaphorically. She is the embodiment of girl boss. And I love her. I love her. So let me go suffer and then hopefully feel giddy feelings in these last 40 pages.
I just wanna go out on a walk with you. Baby, you know I just like to talk with you. You don't have to tell me anything that's new. I just wanna go out on a walk with you. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine, sailing over pavement with our two outlines. I like to see the shape you're in from time to time. I just wanna see your shadow next to mine. I just wanna see the same things you can see, understand the meaning on a new degree. Maybe that could happen when you're next to me. I just wanna see the same things.
This book is so important to me. It's important to young me and present me. I will try not to go down such a rabbit hole with this, but I think young me, being a competitive athlete that was great at what I did, I still grew up where it was constantly compared of like, oh, well, she can score that many points, but how would she do against the boys? Or it's not that impressive because girls can just make those points and girls can just shoot those baskets. They can just hit those runs. They can just like, it didn't matter. Everything was compared like, well, it's not as impressive as it would be for the male version of the sport. And it is so infuriating. And so experiencing that up through college and then seeing how Reese is our main female character, who she is witty, she is smart, knowledgeable about the sport, and competent as a business owner. Yes, we're seeing that so much more in present day, and women getting these opportunities in male-dominated industries to run the business and do it well. And so I think it was so important to have Reese know it all, not someone that was just like passionate about the game, but really didn't have knowledge on how to run a business and like needing that advice. No, like she knew it all and she was confident in herself. And I think that was so important to have her self-confidence. But then when you also have other men that are confident in themselves as men supporting women, that goes such a long way. And we're seeing that a lot as well in all sports where these different broadcasters, commentators are vocalizing the intelligence of their female counterparts. It does go a long way. And I love seeing Emmett's support from the get-go. There was no difference to him when they were in like a joint interview and a reporter is like, oh, well, she's like a woman owner. And he's like, she's just an owner. Like, she's not a woman, she's an owner. You know what I mean? And like those little things from the beginning, obviously going to make us love Emmett, but it just shows how important that is, especially when other men are willing to make those comments. And then another man says, that was stupid. And then obviously he's raising all of his team full of men to be that way and to show that support. And we never saw those comments from his found family of his team, right? And I just feel like that it was so important to see in this story. And I say present me as well because I'm still in a very male-dominated industry, and I'm so lucky to work immediately like with other men that support what I do equally and find value in what I do equally. I know not every woman can experience that when they are surrounded by men in their industry, so very lucky for that, but I still think it's so important to see women in these roles and being successful with it. And so I love this book. I love Reese. I love Emmett. There is no notes from me. No notes. This was something I finished, and yes, you guys quite literally saw me crying at the epilogue, like happy tears. I was so happy for everyone in this book, but there was also this element of like, well, I didn't just like know that it was a 5-star. I feel like with most 5 stars, you just like know it's a feeling, right? But there is nothing about this book that I didn't enjoy. Every time I picked it up, I didn't want to put it down. I was anticipating if I had to put it down, like when can I pick it up again? Nothing from this book turned me like away from it, gave me the ick, I didn't like. Everything was smart and it just made sense. Nothing upsets us more than like a 3rd act breakup that you're like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Every conflict we had in this book just made sense. I love it. Anytime you think you can beat Reese, you're 3 steps behind her. 3 steps. She's already there. She's already thinking it. I love her. I love her, and I love Emma, and I love Emmett's love for her. They're perfect. Go read this book. So good this morning. I am here to update you guys on the new book that we started yesterday, Throne of Nightmares by Carrie Maniscalco. I really love the Princes of Sin interconnected standalone series so far. I read the first 2 books, loved them. When I read the first book, I was like, it's not going to get better than this. And then I read the second, loved it even more. So I have very high hopes for this, but I'm a little worried. So I started it yesterday morning. It was very gloomy, cozy, it was perfect. I was doing a hybrid read for the prologue, which was the length of an actual chapter, and I felt really focused and locked in. And then when we started just getting into the chapters, I was like, let me just listen to it because I need to get back into work stuff. I couldn't do it. By the time I was like halfway through chapter 2, I was like, I don't remember anything from chapter 1. And then I was halfway through chapter 2, had already restarted that chapter once, and was about to do it again. And I was like, girl, we just gotta put it down. I don't know if it was a multitasking thing or it just wasn't grabbing my attention, so I was quickly like wandering off. But I picked it back up in the evening, started back on chapter 1, and read the first 25%. So I definitely feel a bit more connected. I'm not as instantly intrigued and like pulled in as I was with the first 2, and that makes me a little sad because we're following Prince Sloth in this one, which is supposed to be our library hermit, our reader pop, if you will. So I had high hopes for this, so I'm hoping I get more invested as we read, but I like it so far. The premise of this entire like interconnected standalone series is each of the princes have something wrong with their realm, their kingdom, and they have to figure out how to solve it. So in this one, he needs a specific book of nightmares, I think. So he is trying to find that. That's where he ends up running into our main female character. We don't know her deal. Like, she is human, but maybe she's not. Like, that's something like I don't think she fully knows, and like we're trying to figure that out together. She is kind of throwing them into all of these realms of books that she's read and these worlds that she's like, oh, I know this book, or I know this world, like this tavern that's supposed to have the best ale. Like, so we need to go get that. And he's like, we're literally on a mission. What are we doing here? So I love that premise. I'm just not as hooked yet. So we're going to see if that kind of develops over time. I'm excited to give you the halfway mark update and for me to tell you I'm obsessed. Who cares what I said in the last update kind of thing. So I'm going to keep reading and I will update you when I'm about halfway through. Good morning, it's the next day and I have a reading update for you guys. I had such a nice evening of reading. It felt so good to have the energy, brain capacity to just rot and read for an entire evening. I definitely got a lot further than I expected. I was definitely sleepy in like late afternoon. I was laying on the couch. I kept kind of like dozing off and I was like, I'm just gonna reach the 50% mark and then I'll put it down and I'll probably just like go to bed or like watch YouTube mindlessly kind of thing. No, I really didn't want to put it down, and I was definitely getting sleepy towards the end, and I was just like, but it's so good, I want to keep going. So I think I reached about 70%, 72 maybe. So I made really good progress, and it definitely got so much better as far as my investment in the characters and the relationships and just the overall plot. Hold on, I really need to drink this. I've been up since like 4:30 in the morning where I just could never fall back asleep, truly. So I've been like tossing and turning. And it's so like gloomy and foggy this morning. So like a hot cup of coffee, it's hitting. Throne of Nightmares. It's so good. It's so good. I have to say, I think it is my least favorite of the three that have been out so far, but I'm still really enjoying it. I think I gave the first two 4.5 stars. Maybe the second one's 4.75, because I think I like that one even more than the first. And then this, it is giving 4.25. Sounds just so silly in this moment, but like, that's kind of, 4 stars seems so low because I am really liking it, but maybe it is more of a 4-star. We're gonna have to see how this wraps up because I'm definitely really enjoying our characters. I think we're gonna learn so much more about our main female character in this last 30% because there's so many like kind of just mysteries surrounding her and this like power that she sort of has. And she's really coming into her own here, but like she already is quite the independent girly, quite brave, even in moments that like, girl, if you think you're like mortal, like why are you just throwing yourself into that fight? Because babe, you're gonna die. Let the immortal guy take care of it. You know what I mean? So we're gonna learn so much more because I feel like we're just seeing her do all these things that she's like, I didn't know I could do that. That's like, I've never done that before, and yet I did it with like precise precision. So I'm really liking it. I'm gonna keep reading. I feel like my next update will probably just be when I finish it, unless something crazy happens that I need to stop and talk with you guys. But I plan to lock in today and finish Throne of Nightmares. I am home from work, changed into comfy clothes, and ready to finish Throne of Nightmares. I've been thinking about this book all day. Anytime someone talked to me about doing something, I was like, guys, I just want to go home and read my book. Why are you asking me to do anything right now? So now I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm going to put on maybe some fantasy, like ambiance or something, and get to reading. Okay, our sun is going down, so I want to give you guys this reading update before it gets too dark. But as you guys saw, I did finish Throne of Nightmares, and I had a really good time with it. It definitely grew for me as far as my plot interest, the chemistry of the characters, and really caring about the characters. So I'm glad that I like stuck with it and developed all of those feelings, because ultimately I think it's going to be a 4-star read. I really enjoyed it. I just know that I enjoyed it the least of all 3 books that have come out for the Princes of Sin interconnected standalone series, which can be expected. Hello, when you have an interconnected standalone series where each book is following new main characters, you're having to dive into that all over again, there's gonna be books you like less than others, so that's not crazy to me. I definitely was hoping for more of a 4.5-star experience, just because Prince Sloth is the reader pop that's supposed to be always in his library, loving books. So obviously as a bookish person, I was hoping to love him so much more. I still liked him. It just wasn't as much like obsession as I had with the main characters and their chemistry in the first 2 books. Still glad I read it. There was an element of like, I am really anticipating this book, but I'm also scared because we read 2 5 stars in this video, and I was like, I would love for this to be 5 stars, but I just don't think that's gonna happen. And it was still a good time though, so I do highly recommend it. You could read them out of order. To be so for real, it doesn't really matter, because even in this one, I think they reference the 2 main characters as far as like a couple from like book 2, but it doesn't matter. I feel like I say this in every video that I talk about like an interconnected standalone series. The only spoiler is that 2 people got together. Like that's really the only spoilers that you get in a different book kind of thing. So you know that's gonna happen. You just don't have all the backstory, but it doesn't really matter because you're following different characters and their journey in the story. Milo's head, oh my god. I had a really good time. I'm hoping that you guys found some books that you want to pick up. If you haven't, I'm sure a lot of these were already on your radar. Some of these I'm sure you've already read because they were highly anticipated for so many people as far as new releases. Let me know if there's any new releases that have come out in the last couple of months that you are wanting me to read specifically for a reading vlog. I have a couple in mind. I know I have a couple coming up in the next few months that are like top of the top ones I'm anticipating for the entire year kind of thing. And I know I have later months, what is it, September I think, that has like 15 new releases I'm interested in. So we're gonna see how I tackle that month. But for now, I know there's a couple kind of throughout the coming months that I'm interested in. So let me know if you've read any of these, if you've loved them, and if you're gonna read any of them based on how you saw me freak out over them. I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.